and naturally, I'm here to win. I don't know what the prize is, but it's mine. I've put my name on it.
What's the prize, John? You didn't plan this very well, did you?
Oh god.
Money. Just say money. Just say the word money.
Oh yes, money. A solid 0.1 pounds that comes straight out of my bank account.
Take that,
Better than
student debt.
nothing.
Oh god. Yes, indeed. Okay, and what about the lovely people from Lancaster? Who are you?
After you.
I'm Tristan. Hello. I'm he, him, and I'm a history student. Unfortunately.
And who are you?
I think I'm Joe. My pronouns are him, he, him, and I was until recently an English and creative writing student, but my coursework's almost all due, so that's over. And I'm not here to win. I'm just here to beat Tristan.
No, you will not be succeeding, my friend. This is the rivalry of time.
Oh god, yes.
And here I thought this was a team game.
Oh god, teamwork. No.
It is a team. It's a team game, but it's very, very internally competitive. A lot of politics going on.
All right, Lewis, get ready to be destroyed.
It's a team game, but it's teams of one.
Yeah.
To win, you have to be willing to lose.
There is an IN
Well-
team, seems.
Yeah,
There is if you
but not in a
spell it
spelling bee. Yeah.
Yeah, that would
There's
be.
an I in team until you're playing a spelling bee, then you lose.
That's true.
Tune in next time for the Lancaster University Comedy Institute Spelling Bee. It's just Joe.
I'll be honest, I'm up for that.
Yeah,
we
that
should do
would
that.
probably be quite fun.
Yeah.
As the non-humanity student here, please do not do that.
I can confirm Lewis's spelling is absolutely atrocious.
I mean, it depends. If you think spelling should be standardized, yeah, it's pretty bad. but if you think, spelling can be anything, it's just another art form, my spelling's top notch.
Spelling is not an art form, please shut up.
Just put me down.
That's a debate all of its own. No, it isn't. It's
not. It's really
Yeah. It's a short. I didn't say it was a long debate. I just said it was a debate.
Oh, okie dokie. Let's get on with the show before we launch into the debate about spelling. Okay, right. So, Talk of the Devil, the news show. Okay, so the first round that we will be playing is called Funny Because It's True. This is a round where I read out wacky sounding news stories to all of you, and you decide. I'm going to read out 3, and you decide for each one whether it is true or false. At the end of each story, I will tell you if it's true or false, and those who got it right will win a point. Those who got it wrong will not. Believe it or
Damn.
not.
Should have been the other way around.
This is merciless.
This is a shocking development.
Oh, I wish I had added sound effects so I could have a dun 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 appear there.
You just do it yourself. You're so good at it.
Aw, thank you, Tristan. 1 point to Tristan. Okie
Right, telling you genuinely before we start. Genuinely, I was on a round of this once. It came to a draw, and the winner was decided by who could give me the best compliment.
Wow.
Because I was the guy with the least points. I was the guy with the least points.
As York students, we're going to do really well on that. Knowing Lancaster students.
John, your
So
jumper is
detailed.
beautiful, as everyone can see, as all the listeners can see. They'll be appreciating your fashion sense, I think.
Wait,
Just thought I'd get that out there.
Oh yes. For the York students on the show, I should probably let you know I am.
Fashionista.
I've gained some notoriety from the yellowness of my jumper that I
Yellow
wear.
is a good colour.
Thank you.
Right
Point
in
to
between
Gio.
red and green. Lets you know when the lights are about to change. Top colour.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh,
Uh-huh.
I'm getting right buttered up today. Okay.
Like yellow, because butter is yellow. Shut up. Anyway, Karen.
Right, yeah, let's play the game.
Okay, right. Okay, so after the flattery... Joe, by the way, what was the winning comment that flattered you the most, out of interest?
I really can't remember. What was
that
awkward
good, huh?
was one of the other competitors was my girlfriend.
Oh, wow.
So I think I picked the other guy, to be honest.
Oh, wow.
Oh dear.
Oh, okay. I am going to scour the Mixcloud after this episode to see all the talk of Death Note and find out just what that comment was. Okay. Right. Okay, on with the game. Right. So, the story that I'm going to read out to you first. Is it true or is it false? Here it comes.
It's true.
-1 point to Louis.
Oh, it's false! It's false!
Oh.
Yes, see, we cracked it!
Oh, no, I
Damn.
did not say that. Okay. Here it comes. Teenagers' marathon live stream of Animal Crossing raises thousands for the NHS. A YouTuber vlogger from London has raised £8,000 for the NHS by playing Animal Crossing on the Nintendo Switch for an entire day. This teenager, Samuel Pickett from Kingston upon Thames, broadcasted himself on YouTube playing the game with a link to a Just Giving page in the description. Right, okay. So what do we think, guys?
I do that anyway, and I have yet to raise any money, so...
Yeah, I was just going to say
don't
this.
know.
I was just going to say this guy was probably playing Animal Crossing all day, every day anyway. Just decided I might as well try and do something a bit different.
Yes.
Look, I've played Animal Crossing, aka Turnip Simulator. Very good game. I think it's easily plausible that they'd spend 24 hours. So terraforming takes a while. So
Yeah.
I must be the only person of this entire generation who's never played Animal Crossing.
how do we remove
Yes,
someone from the call? By the way,
I knew someone was going to say that.
I mean, if Animal Crossing is meant to be a simulator for real life, it makes sense that you'd be able to simulate doing actual work for charity through Animal Crossing.
it's a simulator specifically for turnips, though.
Well,
That's all
Was
it
it
is.
like was it for every coin earned in Animal Crossing would be matched for the donation?
Oh god. Well,
Imagine if your turnip price tanked.
Oh, no, that would be so sad.
Animal Crossing hits hyperinflation.
what it would mean would be the number of saved lives by the NHS would literally depend on virtual turnips.
definitely thinking too hard about this now.
As opposed to real turnips, which
Which
as
would
I'm
be
sure is a
fine.
much more stable market.
You've got this all planned. We're going to have to do this now, collectively.
Yeah, it's on air. People know it.
Yes.
No, we've said it.
Well, it is just a podcast. I can edit this out and replace it with something much more agreeable.
If
Just
any
the Benny
listeners out
Hill
there
feed.
have any turnips, please send them to Lancaster University Comedy Society. Thank you.
They will be redistributed to those in need.
Okay, right. I am going to randomly shuffle your names, and then in the order I get the names, you are going to tell me if you believe this story to be true or false. Okie dokie. Here comes the order. Right. First up, Tristan. True or
Whoa.
false?
Well, it's definitely true, because if something can be done, it probably will be. That's my new theory.
Okie dokie. Okay, right. Moving swiftly on, Joe, true or false?
I believe this is true because this is the world we live in. And to be honest, when you read this, I was like, you could have picked something a bit more obscure. Like, I completely believe this.
Okie dokie. Right. Louis? Oh, sorry, is it Louis or Lewis?
It's Lewis.
Oh,
Just to reiterate, at the start of this round, before the thing was even read, I said it's true. I ain't changing from that. I'm sticking to my guns.
okie
good man.
dokie. And finally, Geo.
Well, I am ever a maverick, and I actually am gonna go with false for this one because I don't know. I don't know if you could raise that much money, like from doing something that you would just be doing anyway. I don't know. I'm gonna go with false.
Yes, and
That's a good point. How much was the money again? Just can I double check that? How much did you raise?
£8,000. 8,000.
Oh.
Are you still
I'll keep
sticking
him
with
up, please.
Drew
How many
Raymond?
subscribers does he have?
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
I do not know. I do not know. But yes, okay, are we all happy with our answers?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
Okie dokie, right. Drum roll, please. The story is, in fact, false.
Yes!
No! No!
Well done to Geo. You have 1 point.
Okay.
Well, why hasn't anyone done this yet? They should get on it.
Thank goodness this is a team game. Cheers, Gio.
Is it a team game? I literally don't know.
Tis now.
Okay, okie dokie. Right. On to the next story then, I guess. Here it comes.
Oh, this one's true. 100% this
Stop doing that!
Alright, let's see if you stick to your guns on that one. Okay, here it comes. Silicone breast implants stop a bullet and save a woman's life. Okay, a medical report has been recently published detailing an incident in which a woman hit by a bullet would have almost certainly died, if not for the protection given by her breast implants. In what may be a medical first, doctors credit the silicone implants for preventing a bullet from striking the 30-year-old's vital organs. The bullet broke one of her ribs, but the damage mostly ended there. Alright, what do we think?
I think this is just an advert disguised as a news story.
Are we sure there was silicon and not titanium?
That would be so painful.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Look,
What?
look, I
But
don't
for
know
some
how
reason-
much protective bullet. But if breast implants cost less, in theory, the army could save a ton of money.
That sounds like a Seth Rogen, James Franco movie.
Oh, we have
For some reason, this is making me think of a history documentary I saw where because the Archduke Franz Ferdinand owned a silk bulletproof vest, and they did a test on this documentary to see if it would have saved his life, and they found out it would have done. But then they just took the sting out of the experiment by saying, by the way, he wasn't wearing it that day, and he was shot too high anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered.
If only
if
he
Franz
had his
Ferdinand-
implant.
If he had breast implants, no World War One.
Yeah, exactly. That's the lesson that we take from this.
Oh god. Okay, right. Are we ready to make our decisions then? Right, I'm going to spin. I'm going to spin the wheel of random.org.lists online. Okay, right.
I tend like
Okay, right. The first person on the list is again. I promise this is not rigged. It's Tristan. True or false?
Surprise! Well, I too have seen films, and I know from films that this is definitely possible. So true.
Okay.
What films do you watch?
I don't know, but it's the sort of thing, it's the sort of thing that happens in films, isn't it?
I've never
the
seen that
James
in a-
Bonds, and
I've never seen that happen in a James Bond movie.
I don't really remember what happens in James Bond. It's what I sort of imagine, I guess, what would probably happen in James Bond.
Imagine Q giving Bond silicon breast implants.
They
These
never
are
get
your
past the
gadgets,
intro. You know
Yeah.
the intro where he walks through the cardboard tube and he gets shot? Nothing would happen. He'd be protected by his breast implants. The movie would never roll.
The scene on the roof of the train would have all turned out fine when he gets shot in the fight.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
it did all turn out fine anyway, so it just
Good
would have
point.
saved a lot of time.
The film would have only been like half an hour long.
These are your new gadgets, Bond. There's only 2 of them, Q. Exactly.
Oh god. Okie dokie. Right.
Breast implants.
Tristan is going with true. Right, okay. Lewis, what is your answer?
Hi. I said true. I want it to be true. And I'm a big believer that if you want something to be true, you have to make it true. So I'm gonna say true, and if it's false, I'm gonna do some R&D and see what I can come up with.
Oh my god. Okay, right. Geo.
Yeah, I'm also gonna say true. I mean, similarly, I just think it would be fun. So yeah, I'm gonna say true.
Fun for everyone except the person getting shot who broke a rib.
Well, yeah, more
I mean,
fun than
They're
dying.
alive. Yeah.
You say that she's gonna dine out on that story for the rest of her life. Did I tell you about the time I got shot? Yes, you did.
Okay.
Miss, this is a McDonald's.
I'm just here to take your order. All right. Joe, what is your answer?
On the understanding that you can't change your plea, I think I read this not long ago, so I'm gonna say true.
Okay, right.
But it wouldn't matter because we've all said the same thing anyway. So,
Everyone's a winner.
yeah, or we're all losers.
Let's not. No.
That's not the attitude in this lockdown.
Yeah, good
All
point.
about positive.
You are right.
Exactly.
And
We're all winners.
and in this case, you actually are all winners because yes, the story
Woohoo!
is true.
Yay!
Hooray!
Yeah! My faith in humanity just went to an all-time high, I tell you.
I am very glad that you were the last person on that list, Joe, because you said that you'd actually read the story. Okay, but
Yeah,
still,
just be clear, I wasn't going to tell anybody if I wasn't last on the list.
Oh, thank you very much. You are seasoned in this show's workings, and you
What
know
can I say?
what tactics. Okay, right, good. So that story was true, and now on to our last story. Here we go. Here it comes. Right. Statue unveiled in Hamburg of a man holding hamburger. Although the city of Hamburg in Germany is not the actual birthplace of the hamburger, it is the city from which came the cows that gave the meat that made the first hamburgers. Because, back in the Industrial Revolution, I read up about it. Apparently, they gave workers meat, and then the meat they didn't give them the meat on anything. They just gave them a slab of meat, and the workers didn't want to eat that slab of meat, so they put it on bread. And then that was how the hamburger was invented. Fun story for you all. But that's not the story that we're voting on true or false, by the way. That's just a little bit of backstory. But yes, anyway, on with the story. So to commemorate the cows that made these Hamburg steaks back in the 19th century, a statue of a farmer smiling and holding a hamburger has been unveiled in the city centre. Right, what do we think?
So where did they ship the cows to?
Well, I'm assuming
They,
that the meat was just shipped around the world, just as it is today.
yeah, but the problem is, if my Deliveroo order is longer than 30 minutes, I get impatient. There's no way these people are waiting for weeks and days for these cows to be shipped in when there's perfectly good cows down the lane that they can just dial up and be like, right.
I don't
Also,
know.
who's checking that? Sorry, Gio, you first.
Well, I don't know. Maybe these cows were just that good that you're willing to wait weeks. You know, we don't know.
There's only one good cow, and it's the cow from Barnyard. And he didn't get turned into a hamburger.
Oh, you're the other one who saw that film then.
The film, I saw the Nicktoons TV show. Okay,
Wow.
I'm a
wow.
real barnyarder. Okay, I've got
I
the
see.
T-shirt.
Is that your term for each other? Barnyarders. You have secret meetings.
Oh, they're not secret. The minutes are fully available online.
It's called Farm Age. You get Willie Nelson in to play for you.
Okay. Well,
There's something that doesn't. So we've discussed the logistics of getting the cows there, but also the statue.
Yeah,
That feels like it's ripped out of SpongeBob or something.
yeah. All I've got in my head is this kind of cartoonish idea of the statue, and for some reason, I don't feel like that's something they do in Germany. Forget in Hamburg.
I've just got the Milky Bar kid. That's all I've got.
But it's his like cousin, his bigger, scarier cousin who eats meat.
The Bulky Bar kid.
Oh, okay, right. Well, I should probably say at this point, it is just the true or false thing just relates to the unveiling of the statue. The backstory of the origins of the hamburger are undisputable. The only question remains as to the unveiling of the statue. So,
Oh.
yes. Sorry, I should have said that at first. It's just about.
So they did order the cow.
Well, I read up about the backstory of the hamburger cows, and it was quite a difficult story to understand. So I've done my best to explain it, but we can delve further into the origin of the hamburger after this episode is over. But
That's Tristan's thesis, isn't it?
Yes, thank you very much. I know all about this. I can tell you all. It's definitely false. Definitely false. That is not what I will be saying. That is definitely what I'm going to say at the end. I'm definitely not going to stab you all in the back and say it's true, because it's not.
Maybe you're pulling a double bluff, and it is false.
Maybe.
And you're trying to make us believe that it's true.
The old barnyard bamboozle.
all right.
I think actual con artists use that.
Are we ready to cast our answers?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okey-dokey. Right. So I've spun my wheel. First up, it's you, Joe. What do you say?
I'm gonna break my own mold here and say that it's false because I think I love the story, but I think there was a little too much detail, and I think if you'd made it up, you'd put all the detail in, whereas if you hadn't, then you wouldn't. So I don't think it's true. I'm going with false.
Oh, very, very astute. Very inquisitive. Okay, right. Geo, you're next. What do you say?
Okay, my gut says true because I just think it would be nice. So,
Oh,
true.
oh, that's positive thinking. Nothing else is. Okay, right. Tristan, what do you say?
Oh, I think it's true. Yes, true. It was a mere bluff, not a double bluff.
Dun dun
Scandal.
dun, sound effect.
It would be very embarrassing if I'm wrong now.
Yeah.
Okay, finally, Lewis, what do you say?
So when you have a hamburger, there's two things people always tell you. One, it's not ham, and two, they don't mention Hamburg normally. So I'm gonna go false.
Okay.
It's not false that the cows come from Hamburg, Lewis. That's not the bit that we're debating on.
Yeah, look. I'm put all in at this point.
We're not. That's not the game we're playing. What do you think we're playing?
Look, I'm one piece away from having all 5 Exodia pieces, so
Oh, brilliant. Okay, so
Okay,
you say false. All right. Okay. And now for the drum roll. It was false. That story.
let's go. Let's
Yes,
go.
indeed.
You've got all your pieces now. Okay.
It's not possible.
Alrighty. Alrighty. By the way, can I just ask who won that last round? The round we did before?
Definitely me.
Wait, which round?
I got 2 points.
Yeah, I've got,
I got
like,
2.
points.
Okay, right, cool. Just muddling up the points very badly here. Okay.
Everyone won the second one.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Oh, brilliant. Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
everyone's got at least 1 point.
Lovely jubbly. Thank you very much. And sorry, I'm just absolutely mucking this up good and properly. Okay, I've got all the points sorted out now. Right. Thank you for bearing with. Okay. That's the end of that round. So currently the points stand at Tristan and Gio with 1 point each.
A whole point!
I have 2! I have 2 points!
Uh,
Yeah, Gio,
oh yes,
Because I
You
you
got the first one right.
Oh God, I'm so sorry. You did. Okay. I know what I'm doing. That's for sure. Right. Okay.
this man's a science student, ladies and gentlemen.
I actually have 100 points.
The problem
Don't
is,
milk it, Tristan.
I'm so bad at this. You could be telling the truth. I don't know.
Is that the last question? Is Tristan lying or not?
Is Tristan real or not?
Oh god.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
This
It's
is
a
radio, who
Discord bot
knows?
this whole time.
He was a bot. Okay. Right. So the current score, if I'm right this time, it stands with Tristan with 1 point and
A whole point!
a whole point, and then everybody else has 2 points.
Oh.
Huzzah!
So as a team,
York's
winning 4-3. That's all I'm hearing.
Yeah, Tristan, do you wanna join back? Do you wanna cross the floor again, Tristan?
I think I'm gonna go with York now, and you're on your own, Joe.
So now it's 2 points to 5.
7.
Fantastic.
This truly is a historic episode of Talk of the Devil. The
So-
feud between Lancaster and York is over with the crossing boundaries and the teaming up of contestants. Okay.
I've solved the Wars of the Roses.
There will never be another Roses tournament after this. What have we done?
That's it! We found out who finally won! It was
The real
Rose. The friends who made along the way.
Okay. I would very much like to give you a point for that. Should I? I don't know.
Save it up for a tiebreaker at the end.
Oh, good idea. Yes. Okay, right. So the points stand at Tristan with 1, Joe with 2, Lewis with 2, and Gio with 2. And that brings us on to our song break. So the song break game, it is a game where throughout the show there are going to be 3 song breaks, and the titles / artists' names of these songs are going to hint towards a certain story that has been in the news recently. And so at the end of after each song break, we'll have a little discussion about it. But at the end of the show, I will ask you for what you think the news story is. If you get the story correct, you will get 2 points. If you don't get it correct, but you say something very creative and funny, you will get 1 point. I mean, if you say the most creative / funny thing. Yes, so that is the song game. But before we launch into our first song break, I have a creative question to ask you. So, the creative question is: if you were to erect a statue in your hometown, what would it be of and why? After the song break, you will give your answers, and my favourite answer will win a point. Okay, right. On to our first song. Our first song is Fall to the Floor by the band Star Sailor. And this song is 4 minutes long, and during this song you can, go get a drink or a snack or whatever. But yes, here comes the song. The clue could be in the artist or even the lyrics, or the song name, of course. All right, see you guys after the song break. Oh, lovely. All right. Is Geo there? Geo?
Hello. Yes, sorry.
Oh, lovely jubbly. Right, we're all back. Okay. So that was 4 to the Floor by Star Sailor. Now, what do we think so far? Has anyone got any ideas of what the news story could be pointing to?
Star Sailor, therefore space travel. We've landed on Mars.
Elon Musk has taken advantage of everyone else being preoccupied with coronavirus and has just snuck into NASA and nicked a craft.
He's just floating around up there going, you said to isolate. I mean...
Oh. Okay. Anyone else got any thoughts on what it could be?
Something to do with floors, maybe?
Has
yes,
Jennifer
floor
Lawrence's
cleaner.
Oscar trip become culturally relevant again?
Oh god, I remember that. That was ages ago.
We all remember where we were when Jennifer Lawrence fell over at the Oscars. I was probably in bed.
Oh boy. Ah, right. Okay, so yes, anyway. 4 to the Floor by Star Sailor. Remember that song. But we have a creative answers round to do as well. So before the song break, I asked you all, if you were to erect a statue in your hometown, what would the statue be of and why? The most creative answer is going to win a point. So I'm going to spin my wheel and go through you all and see who's got the best answer. Right, first up, Lewis. Take it away.
Right. So I'm from the Nottingham area. So, there's an obvious answer. And it is, of course, a giant DVD copy of Notting Hill.
Oh my.
Would it be in colour or would it be just grey stone?
Oh, a bit of both. A bit of both.
Oh, nice.
Tasteful. So the
Good,
title would be in colour. And there'd be an actual DVD chiseled into the stone that could be read by a large enough DVD player. Naturally, of course, this would be locked away by the city council. However, at the end of every local election, they would have a ceremonial opening of the giant DVD case to put on a screening of Notting Hill, because as we all know, Notting Hill is a film that you can watch time and time again and is right at the centre of Nottinghamshire culture.
It's a family classic. It's like The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. All right.
Is it?
Okay, next up, it's Geo. What have you got for us?
So I live in just the tiniest, most irrelevant, middle of nowhere little village. You can walk about a mile in any direction and just hit field. So I think that the most relevant statue to erect in the center of my hometown would just be a big sign pointing to the next town. Because there ain't nothing here.
Whereabouts in the country are you?
Northwest of Cambridge. But
It sounds a lot like where I grew up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you
Which
grew up
isn't
in
there.
Cumbria.
I did, yes.
Wouldn't it be crazy if you pointed to the next town and it was your town?
That would be
What?
very strange.
Okay.
Alright, so we have Geo with a big sign pointing to the next town, which may or may not be Joe's town, or may be Cambridge. Okay, right, next up we have Joe. What have you got for us?
A sign pointing to Geo's town. No, not really. No, it would be. It would have to be a big number of fields between us, Geo, because I live in Selby in Yorkshire. So
yeah, that's quite a few fields. Yeah.
yeah. So what I think would be the best statue to have around here. I sound like I'm talking to a town planner. The best statue for us to have would just be a massive, uncarved, like completely almost natural big hill. Because around here we have one hill for about 20 miles, and it really annoys me for some reason. Like, as you said, John, I grew up in Cumbria, where it's just like everyone has one leg longer than the other, so they can walk along hillsides. And now I live here, where it's just flat for miles and miles, and just to break the sort of stress of that, I would just like another hill somewhere.
A solid stone hill.
Yeah, just so that you wouldn't even have to go up it, just like so that the horizon was broken by something.
Oh, so it would be on the outskirts of town. I thought it would be like in the middle of the town. It would crush your town.
Let's move all the buildings.
Yeah, just move them back a bit and then shift that 950-year-old abbey, put that in the middle. No, yeah, just on the outskirts, but like just so you could like one of those places that you can always see it throughout the town, you know?
Yes.
That's ominous.
Yeah.
It is. It's a bit like the Shire looking at Mount Doom.
Which it doesn't, but anyway, sorry.
Oh right. I still need to
Sorry,
read the border grades.
Yeah, there's a whole years of. I'm not going to get into it now. I'll be here all day.
Right. Well, okay. So we've got Lewis with the giant DVD of Notting Hill, Geo with a big sign pointing to the next town, Joe with a massive stone hill, and finally Tristan. What have you got for us?
Well, unfortunately, I live in Surrey, which is a bit of a short straw as far as this group is concerned. Those of you who've never been to Surrey, very wise, may not know this, but there is a long and ongoing rivalry between the middle-class sort of leafy rural county of Surrey and the middle-class leafy rural county of Sussex. So I thought it would be fun to mess with the heads of the people of Surrey by erecting a massive statue of something very to do with Sussex. And I had to look this up. It turns out there's a Duke of Sussex. I've never heard of him. His name's Harry. So I thought that I'd bamboozle the people of Surrey by putting a great big statue of Harry, the Duke of Sussex, right in the middle of it.
You should do him as like a sort of Herculean colossus.
Our hero.
Oh goodness, that's brilliant.
With Harry with like his shirt off, like bulging muscles and everything. Oh.
Goodness me.
Oh god. Okay, this is a tough choice. We've got Lewis with a giant DVD of Notting Hill, Geo with a big sign pointing to the next town, Joe with a massive stone hill, and Tristan with a massive statue of Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. I love them all, honestly, guys. I mean, I'll probably go with the stone hill, just because that's so out of the box. So Joe, yes, you are the winner of this round.
Am I?
You are, with your stone hill.
Unsurmountable winner with the unsurmountable stone hill.
That's what they call me, Tristan.
That's the street name of Joe.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Okay. Right, no worries at all. Okay, so the points currently stand with Tristan with 1 point, Joe with 3 points, Lewis with 2, and Geo with 2. And that brings us on to our next round. So, this round is called, if I can get to it, the Fill in the Blanks round. Very, very creative name. Okay, So, this is my favourite round. I am going to read out to you genuine headlines with certain words replaced with blanks. And we're going to go through them blank by blank. You're going to guess what the words are which fit in each blank. And the first person to guess the word for each blank gets a point. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Right, here is the first story. Okay. Man chased with blank after telling blank to stop playing blank. All right, I'll repeat that. Man chased with blank after telling blank to stop playing blank. So what do we think the first blank is? What could it be?
Sense of impending doom.
Yes, you're on the right track.
Is the whole headline "Man chased with camera after telling person to stop playing Animal Crossing for money"?
Unfortunately not, although I wish it was. But okay, yes, but we are on the right track with impending doom.
Good grief!
Man chased with realism after being told by friend to stop playing Fortnite.
We're just doing it one blank at a time, so we're just guessing the first blank. So we're doing well with doom.
It's clearly a deadly weapon, like a feather, a tickling feather. That's the deadliest weapon I can think of.
We're on the right track with weapon. Not gun.
A knife?
Sword.
Controller.
Oh, Joe got that with sword. That was well
Man
done,
chased
Joe.
with a sword. Why wasn't I there?
All right, okay, right. 1 point to Joe. You got the sword. Okay, so man chased with sword after telling blank to stop playing blank. What could that first blank be? After telling blank.
Knight.
No, not knight.
Warrior.
Something a bit closer to home.
Son.
No, not son.
Daughter.
Not daughter. No, but we're on the
Uncle.
right track with people.
Nephew. Niece.
Not a
Small child of non-specific gender.
Or relationship.
No. But we're not thinking family members. We're thinking something a bit broader than family members.
Worst enemy.
Family members usually are worst enemies, to be quite frank.
You okay, John?
Right, not a family member, just a general
like a-
neighbour. Oh,
partner?
yep, neighbour.
Oh,
That
let's
was
go.
well done, Lewis.
Because he lives next to Genghis Khan.
All right. Right, Lewis got that point with neighbour. Man chased with sword after telling neighbour to stop playing blank.
With
Fortnite.
sword.
Loud music, probably.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to give you that one, Tristan. The answer was music. Man chased
Ah,
with
wow.
sword after telling neighbour to stop playing music. Yes, indeed. So I'll get the article up.
Like I was listening as a sword.
Wow. Just wow.
Yep. A man has been accused of grabbing a 2.5 foot long sword and chasing another man who asked him to turn down his music, said police in Manchester, New Hampshire. Oh, not the English
Tell you what,
Manchester.
that's some heavy metal.
Although the sword isn't long enough, it should be 2 meters long.
Oh, you've got him there. That's his legal defence sorted, that is. Your Honour, it wasn't a sword. It was under 2 metres. At worst, it's a
No,
knife.
my point is the social distancing.
Oh.
Sword needed to be long enough to keep him away. No, a sword can be 2.5 feet long. Of course it can.
Oh, of course. My mistake.
Yeah, we all
Oh,
do that.
woe is me. I've humiliated myself again.
Deary me.
Yes. Okay. A man knocked on the door of Benjamin Leyland, 47, on Monday.
Oh, sounds
Leyland
dangerous.
reportedly became upset and grabbed the sword, and allegedly chased the man down the hall.
Benjamin Leyland sounds like a vampire hunter.
Oh, yes. He was charged with criminal threatening. But fortunately, the man whom he chased got away. So it is a happy ending, after all.
Is that a happy ending?
Not if you're the man with the sword.
Exactly. We
Oh,
stand up
true.
for the man with the sword. That's whose side we're on here.
Oh.
As we said, I only stand up for him depending on who he was listening to.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
This
Mm.
strikes me as someone listening to like Hello Kitty openings.
Yeah. There's like a guy doing heavy metal covers of anime openings on repeat.
I mean, My Little Pony, man. Just slap.
Oh, right. On to the next round, I think. Okay, here comes the headline. Only 2 blanks this time. Right. Blank shops are deemed to be essential services in blank. I'll repeat that. Blank shops are deemed to be essential services in blank. What do you think that first blank is going to be?
Is it actually
Sports
the word
Direct.
blank?
It just sells blanks, not ammunition.
Yeah. No sign, nothing.
What do you think?
Turnip shops are said to be essential in Animal Crossing.
Tom Nook is still open.
We're on the right track with something with
Turnips.
turnips. Not turnips themselves, but we're
Grocery shops?
getting a bit
Farm.
further away. Pardon?
Oh.
Farm shop.
No, not farm. Oh, something vegetation based.
Bonsai tree.
Garden shops.
Oh, not garden shops and not bonsai tree shops, but it's plant based. It's
Grocers.
Herbology.
Greengrocers.
No. Oh, we're getting closer with herbology.
This
It's a
feels
plant.
like a very specific
Oh.
type of shop.
Yeah, I was
Herbal.
gonna say, like, is it perchance the devil's lettuce?
Oh, it is indeed. Yes, I'm going to give that
Well
to you, Gio.
done.
Yes,
Nicely done.
it is cannabis. Right, cannabis shops. Cannabis shops stay open because they are deemed to be essential services in blank. This one should be easier.
California?
Yep.
Everywhere.
Oh, that was brilliant.
Oh, you crazy Californians.
Oh,
Well, you
3
saved
points.
me from reinforcing the stereotype and going with Amsterdam.
Ah, yes. No, California is unmatched in its craziness. Yes. So 2
Mhm.
points
That's
to
why it's
Gio.
unforgettable.
Ah,
Indeed.
wow.
Ah. Right.
In here
Okay.
with the old references.
Haha. This is a topical satire show.
Topical for 2007?
2000s.
That's
you
where
could stop
I'm
there,
at.
to be honest.
I'm 2007 great year. Barnyard had just come out the year before.
All right. 2 points to Gio. And now on to our final story. Police chase blank for 45 minutes before catching the chasee, the person, the thing being chased, before catching the chasee with blank.
Is that the wording of the article?
No, I tweaked the wording so it worked with the blank theme, because otherwise it was a bit difficult to do. But yes, police chase blank for 45 minutes before catching the chasee with blank. Chasee is a terrible word now, I realize.
Lots of
I've
people
seen
being
this movie.
chased, I notice.
Is the
Yeah.
answer Chasey by any chance?
Chasey being chased.
Is it a swan?
Oh, not a swan, but we're on the right track.
It's not Hot Fuzz.
Dog!
Oh, not
Is
a
it-
dog, but we're
Is
getting
it a
some hats.
hedgehog?
Is
Is it a very fast hedgehog being chased?
not
Swordsman.
quite. We're getting further, but we're on the right track with dog. It is a mammal.
Goose.
A goose is
Canary.
a bird. No. Very general mammal.
Platypus.
Human.
Not a cat, not a human, not a platypus. Unfortunately.
I would love it if the news was specifying that the police were chasing a human.
Not a human, not a platypus.
Zombie.
Not a zombie either, unfortunately, or perhaps fortunately.
A bear.
No. It's a mammal. It's an unexpected mammal, but it is
A llama.
Squirrel.
a fairly not a llama, not a squirrel.
Echidna.
Mouse.
No. We much more general. Something like that you see all the time. Well, not
A
really.
cow?
Squirrel.
Oh no, a cow is closer.
A sheep?
Sheep.
Not a sheep.
A horse?
Goat.
I said horse
Not
already.
a horse. Not a goat.
Pig.
Yep. Well done, Joe.
Ah.
Oh, 1 point to Joe. Okay.
Is this is the plot of Barnyard?
No, don't be ridiculous. We all know Barnyard off by heart. That's not even. Ah.
I'm too young for your old man references. I do not
Good
know
grief.
of these things as 2007.
Fucking
You are as
casual.
well.
Don't know the plot of Barnyard.
You are too young for this, aren't you, Tristan? Sorry, that's really patronising. Do apologise.
Tristan is older than me, I think. I think I'm the youngest person here.
Wow.
Do you know Barnyard, John?
I don't, unfortunately.
There we go.
Yes.
See, you're so
Unbelievable.
old and out of touch with your barnyards and your pig.
Anyway,
Yes.
they were chasing a pig.
They were chasing a pig. Police chase a pig for 45 minutes before catching the pig with blank.
A
A
net.
sword.
No. Although a net is closer.
Another pig. They dressed up
Throwing a
the
pig
other
at a pig to knock it out.
They cancel each other out.
An anti-pig.
Anti-pig matter.
Oh my God. It would create a black hole.
What they did was they put up a statue of a farmer with a hamburger.
That's you if you don't stop running, mate.
That's why it took 45 minutes, because they're like, nah, it's beef. Everyone knows that. Bye.
Yeah. Also, can we just point out that the pigs were chasing a pig?
Yay, yeah.
That is what so many people in the comment section of this story were saying.
Oh goodness. Okay,
But
they
yes,
caught
we
him
caught it with
with-
blank, and we're getting closer with the word net. But
A trap of some kind?
Box.
Yep. Oh, closer with box. Something a bit wackier though.
A mousetrap.
Wackier than a box.
A massive mousetrap.
And by that, I mean the board game.
Like a proper Tom and Jerry way to catch this pig.
Oh my god.
I'm into that.
Not a mouse.
Did they do like, they closed off all the roads, and like the pig went to jump over the like roadblock, but unfortunately he didn't have the speed, so the pig didn't make it over the roadblock and ended up in the back of the police van.
That would be clever. Not
And
not
then, like
that,
Starsky and
unfortunately.
Hutch fist bump each other with a big guitar riff.
No. I'm sorry to say, but we're getting there with box.
Cage.
Not a cage. Something.
A massive present.
No, something a bit more general. Something you might see around the place a bit more.
Bin.
You might
Oh,
say.
Ben, well done, Jay.
Jace.
You got bin.
Oh
Bin.
wow.
Yep.
A bin!
Wow.
A bin, a dustbin, a massive, a big old dustbin that I assume they just chucked it over the pig, and that thwarted the pig's plans.
Did they do a thing where it looks like a dent of the
Dastardly
pig's face in the
plan.
bottom of the dustbin?
If when they caught the pig, they didn't say "you're trash."
Wow.
There's so many cool cop lines.
He tried to hoof it, but we got him. Sorry.
Hey.
Ah.
We might be losing the audience.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes.
Oh, good. I think it's all right. I think it's temperamental, but it shouldn't affect the quality of the episode as a whole too much.
Oh,
But-
no chance.
No.
Only we can do that.
Okay.
Oh, goodness.
And on that bombshell, we are about to launch into our second song break. But first, we have the creative answers round to go through. So, my question for you, for which you must think up of the most creative answer, is: if you were chasing a pig, how would you go about catching it? And we've already had quite a few good answers to these, but go for something even crazier. So yes, that is the question. If you were chasing a pig, how would you go about catching it? And I am going to launch us into our song break now. This song is Welcome to the Club by Joe Walsh. And that ties into the theme of songs that is going throughout this episode of Talk of the Devil. Okay, this song is 5 minutes long. Speak to you soon. Lovely jubbly, and we are back. Oh, we are back.
Hello.
Indeed.
Hooray!
Okay.
Sup?
Sup. Right. Okay. So I asked you all before that song break. Oh, actually no. Oh, sorry. That song. That was "Welcome to the Club" by Joe Walsh, and previously we had "Fall to the Floor" by Star Sailor. So what are we thinking? What are we leaning towards with those two song names and titles and artists?
Joe Walsh was on I'm a Celebrity, right?
Oh, I don't know.
If not, this theory makes no sense. But if he was on I'm a Celebrity, the floor is the jungle, the club is the winner's club, because he might have won it.
You're relying on him having won it as well as just being on it. This is pretty low odds, but I support you.
I told you I was going all in.
Oh man, you have done that. Okay, Tristan, what do you think?
I have no idea, but I've been enjoying the songs. They're very funky, groovy, funking out. Maybe it's something to do with things being funky. That's my only guess.
I like it. I like it. It is
Thank
a
you.
positive. It is. I will say the story that all of the songs tie into is positive. So
So I'm closest so far.
you are closer than Lewis, but that's not hard.
I think my final theory
Y'all are
might
going to be
right.
feeling real silly.
Go on, Joe.
I was just saying that based on what you've just said, John, I think my final theory might be right. I'm not sure if we're meant to be giving our final answers here, so I
No.
might save it for the end.
Okay. We shall leave you to the end, but this is boding well. And finally, Gio, what do you think?
I'm thinking something to do with clubs or being welcoming, that sort of thing.
Right. Well, you're sort of on the right track. You are closer than Lewis. But yes.
That's all I need.
Team spirit, woohoo!
Yes, teams of one in this case. But yes, okay. So we have our thoughts on that, and now onto the creative answers round. So I asked you all before the song break, if you were chasing a pig, how would you go about catching it? Okay, let's spin the wheel and go for Lewis. You first.
Right. So I think best way to catch a pig, you want to be in the mind of the pig. So I'm going to become a criminal profiler who specializes in pig crimes. So I'm going to go to Iowa University because they offer a farming science degree, apparently. I'm going to get one of them, and then it's no longer going to be Year of the Pig. It's going to be Year of the Me. I'm going to be in that pig's brain. I'm gonna find him.
You've clearly done your research. That's what I love about this. In the song break, you have been Googling, I'm guessing.
I mean, I'm also looking into a farming science degree anyway. Really liked Farming Simulator. Natural step.
Oh, fair enough then. Fair enough. Okay, so we've got Lewis with Become Criminal Profiler, go to Iowa University to get into the mind of the pig, and replace Year of the Pig with Year of the Lewis. Next up, Gio, what do you think?
So here's what I'm thinking. This pig, potentially dangerous, could cause untold havoc. We are going to need to launch a national-wide kind of method of doing this. We are going to set up a treaty with all of pigkind. Pigkind and humankind will come together as one, and we shall sign an accord, or they'll just, I don't know, put like a hoof print on it or something. It will happen. And then the pigs will teach us their secrets. They will teach us the language of the pigs. We shall learn to speak the language of the pigs. And then we shall send a specialized squad out to confront this pig. And we don't want to use violence. We just want to talk. We just want to negotiate. So we get in there and we talk to the pig and we say, hey man, it doesn't have to be like this. And the pig says, I know, I had a troubled childhood, and the only way I can let out my feelings of anger at this society is to cause havoc. And we say, it's okay, pig, it's okay, we'll get you some therapy. And we give the pig therapy, and then it's a happy ending for everyone.
Good God!
Wow.
I like that a lot. It was going.
I am
towards,
moved.
I am. I mean, I've got to say, I'm very glad that you didn't end that with and then we give the pig therapy, and then once it is healed and it has got over its troubled upbringing, we kill it. I'm very glad you didn't say that.
Why would you do that?
Well,
What
no,
kind of message would that be sending out to the pigs that we've just signed a treaty with?
Exactly. It would be a terrible idea, but I'm just very glad you didn't go down that route, because
You just went down that route, John.
Yeah.
yeah, I know I am the bad guy in this chat. I am the scummiest. But yes, yes. Okay, so we've got set up treaty with all of pig kind. Do diplomacy with pigs. Help pig through troubled upbringing. Become criminal profiler. Okay. Next up, Tristan. What would you do?
Well, mine's a lot less ambitious because, I just think people like a nice story. Everyone likes a nice story. So we'll say to the pig, don't worry, we're just going to read you a nice story and it'll calm down. It'll fall asleep when we read the story. And I was thinking, everyone likes stories with relatable characters, so I thought, nice children's story, not about anything in particular, just about pigs, really. It's called Animal Farm. And the pigs will relate to it, and they'll think, oh, what nice pig characters doing perfectly normal pig things. And so they'll fall asleep and they'll be caught. Ta-da! Caught.
And that's how you teach pigs about communism.
Yes.
Oh, good. I was wondering if Animal Farm would crop up, and it did. Okay. So, read pig, Animal Farm, and
Which for pigs is a lovely bedtime story.
I guess it's quite comforting to pigs to hear the story.
Yes, it is actually. That's a good point.
Yes. Read pig, Animal Farm. Okay. So, last but not least, Joe, how do you catch this pig?
Well, you see, growing up in Cumbria, I have a huge amount of experience with wrangling domesticated animals.
Ooh.
it's basically, it's a rite of passage into manhood in Cumbria.
Oh,
You earn your name by chasing and catching a pig. And I was
yes.
taught all the tricks in the trade. Boar man, my tribal elder, and and the trick is because they're slippery little creatures, pigs, and they run very fast. And the thing about chasing something is that in the end, whatever you're chasing, it will probably get away from you for a bit, and you won't be able to see it anymore. So what you do when that happens, when you're chasing a pig, is you stop and you shout, "This little piggy went to market," and you do the whole thing. And then when you get to and you go, "And this little piggy cried," and it's a quirk in pig psychology that they can't resist going wee 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 when you shout that line at them. So as soon as you hear him shout that line, you know where that pig is, and you just jump on him. Because the best thing about it is as well, sometimes, doesn't happen all the time, but about 70% of the time, the pig will then go all the way home and turn round and come back towards you. So basically, what you could say is it's sort of like a very warlike tactic where you exploit the pig's own state of mind against it.
Yes. It reminds me of the scene in Ted 2. I don't know if any of you guys have seen this, where Ted.
Yeah, that intellect build.
Ted is hiding amongst a sea of copies of himself, and he is identified by the villain singing the words to "Sweet Caroline," and Ted cannot resist jumping in and going ba ba ba. But yes, great scene for those of you who haven't seen it. But okay, so we've got Piggy went to market thing from Joe. I can't be bothered to summarize that. I'm sorry. Okay.
If you're just joining us, let me start again.
God no. Okay, so we've got Joe's very elaborate plan. We've got Tristan's Read It Animal Farm. We've got the even more elaborate plan of Geo to set up a treaty with all of pigkind, and we've got
geopolitics.
Oh God.
So,
I'm glad I haven't actually been deducting points for bad puns throughout this episode because we would all be well into the negatives. And Lewis has got become criminal profiler and go to Iowa University. And I've got to say my absolute favourite has to be Geo's.
Yay!
It's a very kind one. Okay, so at the end of that round, Tristan has 2 points, Joe has 6 points, Lewis has 3 points, and Geo has 5 points.
Yay!
And that brings us on to our third main round of the game. And this round is called... it's like an extension of the creative stories round, but this time you don't get a whole song to think about it. It's called Give Me a Story. Right, so the way the game works is I have taken a story from the news, I have summarized it with 3 words. If you know what story I'm talking about with these 3 words, then you can give me the true story, and you will get 2 points for giving me the true story. If you don't know what the story I'm talking about is, or if you're just not sure, think up of a creative story, and whoever gives me the most creative story will win 1 point. So here comes the first set of 3 words. This is a story summarized with the 3 words zoo, Dudley, and escape. Right.
Can you say that one more time, please?
Yep, sure. Zoo, Dudley, as in the nasty Harry Potter cousin, Dudley, and escape. So those are the 3 words.
Is this a little micro spin-off of the Philosopher's Stone about how he got out of that snake tank?
Oh God, yes.
It's a reenactment gone wrong.
Anything for J.K. Rowling to make money.
Oh yeah, that's a whole other can of worms.
Oh yes. Right. So first off, does anyone know what story I am talking about with those 3 words?
Yes, I do.
Okay, right. In that case, Lewis, I am going to ask you last. Uh,
Excellent.
okay, right.
Should have done that for sure.
Right. If you don't get the story right though, you get no points. But yes. So first off, Joe, give me something wild and creative that you can do with what story would you make out of the words zoo, Dudley, and escape?
I don't believe this is a news story, John. I believe this is a brochure that you picked up that said "Escape to Dudley Zoo," and it's a really important sort of romantic if you want it to be. There's a deal on that, but it's a trip to a zoo in Dudley, which is a place, as I believe, and you can go there and you have a really great time, and the animals are great, and they've actually got a sea lion enclosure that's big enough to go on a cruise. And you go on it, and you just have a great time. So yeah, escape to Dudley Zoo.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Okay, we've got the escape to Dudley Zoo. That sounds like a lovely thing to do. That rhymed. I should deduct a point for myself. And right, okay, next up, Geo. What creative story have you got from those three words: zoo, Dudley, and escape?
I think that many years ago, an ape escaped from Dudley Zoo and assumed the identity of a man. He went around wearing suits. He got a job as an executive in an advertising company, and he did very well, actually. He made a big name for himself. But then the news story came out about this. He ratted out by a mouse, actually, ironically, who said that this guy's actually an ape, and he had to leave his life of fame and glory and return to the enclosure, where he now tells stories of the outside world to all the other apes in the zoo.
Oh,
Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape.
He says that, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I like that a lot. All right. So we've got ape pretended to be a man, was ratted out by mouse, and returned telling stories of his wondrous life as a man. And finally, before we move on to Lewis, Tristan, what have you got for us?
I reckon this is the story of a man called Dudley who decided to start a zoo, very narcissistic, called it Dudley Zoo, and that's why it's called Dudley Zoo, of course. And he raised all the money he needed to start his zoo by playing Animal Crossing, and
it all ties together.
Of course, he planted turnips. He did all of the things. That's more of a farm thing, but he got all of the different animals from Animal Crossing. He's very into Animal Crossing. Pops them in his zoo, and then he realizes, oh no, he didn't raise enough money from Animal Crossing to be able to afford actual cages. So all the animals escaped, and the moral of the story is that's not a very good way of making money.
Very true. I love that. I absolutely love that. Okay. Man builds zoo, but has insufficient funds to make the cages. Okay. Right. So, Lewis, you say that you know what story in the recent news I have been talking about. So, over to you.
I did
What
say
is
that,
it?
yeah.
Okay,
I
right.
did.
What was the story?
So I think that people who were on about Dudley Zoo were kind of right on the money. So I think it's the story about the flamingo escaping Dudley Zoo.
You are correct. Well done, Lewis. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay. Yes, you are correct. It was a flamingo that escaped Dudley Zoo. The headline was "Escaped Flamingo Wanders Streets of Dudley." Very, very dramatic. Here we go.
I wonder how far it got. They don't exactly run fast.
It got I believe it was caught within 2 minutes. Right. Right.
That's how exciting Dudley Zoo is. That was a news story.
Even flamingos are getting restless during the lockdown, it seems. One managed to escape its enclosure in Dudley Zoo and was filmed taking a stroll down a nearby street. This is true, by the way. The long-legged pink bird seemed nonplussed by its adventure, walking past construction fences on a main road instead of its more natural habitat of marshes.
It's just walking along like, well, this sucks.
Like, what were they expecting for it to get back in the car? You will not believe what happened to me today.
Oh my god.
He was flamingon.
Oh. Why didn't they run with that as the headline?
Oh god. Yeah. Presumably.
Because they have standards.
Flamingoing, going, gone. Another one.
There we go. Yeah.
Flaming gone flamingo. Nah.
No,
Clearly, we don't have standards, unlike that newspaper.
Imagine if I just turned around and said that newspaper was The Sun.
Oh no!
It was the Metro. I'm not sure how reputable the Metro is, but yes, it was the Metro.
Well, how exciting!
Yes. All right. Thanks to a phone call from the public, keepers quickly located the bird, and following a quick health check, she was returned unharmed to the rest of the flock.
I was going to say, it's not exactly hard to miss them. They're pink.
They are literally the thing that people use as an example for visibility. That and
Yeah.
pink elephants.
Exactly.
Have you
Okay.
ever met a pink elephant? You'd be very surprised if that was wandering down the street.
Now that would be
Pink
funny.
elephant's just an elephant with flamingos taped.
It's an elephant trying to escape from a zoo by hiding behind a massive load of flamingos.
Oh god. Indeed, right. So, well done, Lewis. You got 2 points there, bringing you up to a total of 5. But the creative story that I liked the most was Tristan's story of man building a zoo, but realizing he had insufficient funds for cages. So Tristan, you get 1 point. So we are currently on Tristan with 3 points, Joe with 6 points, Lewis with 5 points, and Gio with 5 points. Oh, it's a tie. A tie for second place. But Joe is in the lead
we're
with 6
both
points.
equally mediocre.
Yeah.
I'd just like to say for the record, this is the first time I've ever been in the lead on Talk of the Devil. Forget
It's a lucky
fighting
thing we're on a team together, Joe.
Yeah, it is, Tristan, isn't it?
Right, okay, on to our next story then. Right, this story is summarized with 3 words, and those 3 words are Instagram, nature, squirrel. I'll repeat, Instagram, nature, and squirrel. Now, does anybody know or have a really strong degree of certainty as to what story I am referencing with those 3 words?
I think I might do. Only very hazily.
Okay, I'll put you. Would you say that's a yes or a no, Joe?
I'll go with a yes, yeah, why not?
You are feeling brave. Okay, right, Joe, I'll put you towards the end then. Okay, right, let's spin the wheel. And the first person to give their answer is, again, Lewis. Right. What can you think this story might be with the 3 words? Yes, go for it.
So obviously, nature Instagram, booming market right now. There is, of course, Kylie Squirrel, very, very famous squirrel in the Instagram world. Recent controversy, actually. Kylie Squirrel was caught advertising a product that wasn't safe for squirrel consumption. It was actually for other rodents, and as a result, lost thousands of followers. Instagram have launched a full investigation, and for the time being, Nature Instagram is now only pictures of sunny lakes from before the current situation.
Okay. Due to mislabeled food, the Kai squirrel has been taken off Instagram. Instagram is refocusing only on nature. Well, this Instagram account is focusing only on. Right. Okay. So next up, Tristan. What is your story?
Well, Instagram is indeed a very popular platform, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who go on Instagram to look at the very most exciting thing in the world, trees. So, this is about an Instagram fiasco in which the tree lovers were appalled to discover that they could not get any more decent pictures of trees because there were squirrels in the way, and squirrels which move around and are alive and sentient are a lot less interesting than trees, because you never know what a tree is going to do. So this is about the squirrels disrupting the trees on Instagram. That is what I'm saying.
You never know what a tree's going to do, but however, squirrels are the most predictable creature on the planet.
They're always going to get in the way. That's the thing.
Oh, true. Yes. Well, they're predictable in the fact that they are always going to do something unpredictable. But yes. Okay. Tree lovers cannot get pictures of trees due to hordes of squirrels blocking the trees. Okay. And that brings us on to you, Joe. What is your story?
Yeah, well, even if this is...
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. No, yeah, Geo, not Joe, Geo. 2 letters of that name were correct, but
just the wrong way around. Yeah, so it's actually a conspiracy about this one squirrel who has been appearing in the background of like influencers' pictures, and people are starting to get really worried about, you know, what this squirrel could be up to, you know, what his agenda might be, if there's a pattern to the influencers that he is choosing to photobomb. And at the moment, I'm afraid it's still a mystery. We just don't know. I think we're going to have to give this one some time and see if his motives will actually become apparent.
yes, I like that story a lot. Okay, okay, so we've got a mysterious conspiracy squirrel is appearing in Instagram photos and could be making a pattern with the people's photos he appears in. Maybe they're his next victims. He'll nibble them to death.
Oh my god!
Mysterious... what is it? Mysterious something squirrel. What was it?
Mysterious conspiracy squirrel.
That is the greatest phrase of all time.
We have a new motto to our society.
Our crest is just going to be 2 squirrels over a shield.
York has the dead duck, and we have the squirrels. Okay.
Dead ducks and conspiracy squirrel.
That's the new name.
Gio, can that be the title of your autobiography?
Yes, absolutely.
Brilliant.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. So, Joe, you believe you know the real story. Take it away.
Yeah. Even if I am right, I only have the vaguest conception of this, but my understanding is there is a squirrel that has an Instagram account now, and selfies of this squirrel have been being posted to Instagram, and it's becoming a bit of a viral sensation. So yeah, I think the story is that there is a squirrel with an Instagram account, which I'm assuming, I'm not certain, but I have a conspiracy that it's run by humans, really. But yeah,
surely not.
That's a
conspiracy.
bold claim.
The conspiracy is that the squirrel isn't behind the conspiracy.
Possible.
Okay.
It's always the squirrels.
Yeah.
Right. And is there
right
anything about this squirrel? Because Joe, you are on the right track. You are so far getting the story half right, and I'm willing to give you 1 point instead of 2 for that. But is there anything about the squirrel in particular that sets it apart, which you could say that would bump your points up to 2?
The only guess I can really make is that it smiles, like it's a smiling squirrel.
No, I'm afraid you're wrong there.
Ah,
Okay, right. The actual story was it is a one-eyed squirrel with its
Ah.
own Instagram account. Yes. And it is in the news because it is now having been I think taken in and cared for, it is now being returned to the wilderness. Because
Oh.
I think it lost the eye in an accident or something. Was taken in and cared for. Had an Instagram account set up for it because they were that bored in lockdown, I'm guessing. And then they are now returning it to the wild. So Joe,
How lovely.
I'm gonna give you 1 point for that, Joe.
Grand.
And my favourite story out of all of those was Geo's story with the mysterious conspiracy squirrel. So that is a point to each of you. And now on to our last round. Okay, here is the last story, summarized in 3 words. And those 3 words are toast, lockdown, builder.
I know this. I know this.
Okay, you were the first person to say you know it, so you are going to be last to be called upon. Right. Okay. Let's spin the wheel. Okay, first up, Joe. What have you got for us in terms of trivia?
Okay, so there's a builder who's made of toast, and he's a builder made of toast. But, like the rest of us, he's currently in lockdown, and he's doing the socially responsible thing and staying indoors.
Yes.
Because the thing is that his family can eat for weeks because he's also a self-replenishing toast builder.
Yes.
Cousin of the gingerbread man, actually.
So the toast builder eats buttered humans for breakfast.
Oh, God.
No, his
That
his
got
family
dark
his family eat him with butter, and then he grows back
Oh,
like
I
a chameleon.
Ah,
Not a chameleon, a lizard. Well, chameleons are lizards.
yes.
Yeah. So yeah, he's a builder made of toast who's in lockdown, feeding his family with his own body because he's a hero, and his name is I'm really trying to think of a pun here.
He doesn't have to have a name.
I'm a world builder, Tristan. I'm a creative writing student. Give me a break.
Toasty McToastface is an
Toast.
acceptable name. Yeah, Mr. Toast.
Yeah, okay. His name is Mr. Toast, and he said, "Yeah, build him in a toast on lockdown."
Oh, what a rubbish name, Joe. Couldn't you have thought of a better name? God damn it.
I will come up with something.
Get back to us in a week. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, right.
I will think of it in a week. Trust me.
So we have self-replenishing builder made of toast feeds family in lockdown from Joe. Next up, Geo. Oh no, not Geo. You know what the story is. Right. Next up, Tristan. What do you think? With toast, lockdown, and builder.
You cut out there. I don't think anyone heard what.
Yeah, who are you going for?
Oh, sorry. Tristan. I'm going for Tristan. Right. You're next with toast, lockdown, and builder. What do you think?
Oh, this is a story about me. I am the builder in question. Lockdown is getting to me. That's the lockdown bit, you see. I thought I would try and make the biggest tower made of toasties. So I'm building a tower of toast, and I've got my own theme song for this. It goes like this.
Oh.
Toasty builder, can I build it? Toasty builder, yes I can. Toasty builder, can I eat it? Toasty builder, probably not. That's the song.
That is universe building.
Thank you.
Okay. Toastman with own song. Alright. I like that. I like that a lot. Alright, and that brings us to Lewis. with Toast, Lockdown, and Builder. What do you think the story might be?
So, obviously, at the minute, the government's in crisis. There is a lockdown, and there doesn't seem to be any solution. But that's when they switch on the TV, right? And they hear this advert, and they're like, "Oh, maybe he can help us." So they bring him in, and they're like, "Listen, Bob, can you fix lockdown?" At which point, Bob says, "Yes, I can, but I need the country's surplus of toast." At which point, it is discovered that Bob, although a builder, has a medical degree and has discovered a link between the vitamins in bread and a cure. And as the result, Bob the Builder uses his PhD in medicine to fix this.
Brilliant. I love it. Okay, we've got Bob the Builder is secretly a PhD medical student who uses toast vitamins to cure coronavirus.
Can we please have an episode where that actually happens?
This reminds me very much of the Lucy Improv Hour. Talk of the Devil and the Improv Hour do overlap quite a lot. Improv Hour is when the Lancaster Comedy Society just does improv for an hour, and sometimes it doesn't even get as crazy as the stuff that you guys have come up with this episode.
Nope.
Alright, so we've got Bob the Builder is secretly a PhD medical student from Lewis. Okay, and that brings us on to Geo. You think you know the story. What is it?
Yes, so a man bored in lockdown, he takes his toast and he constructs an actually pretty good rendition of Lancaster Castle.
You are correct. You are very much
It's
correct.
Tristan!
It's me!
Oh, it was Tristan all along.
Unfortunately not. No. Lancaster man beats lockdown blues by building Lancaster Castle out of toast. Yes. This man, Matt Close, from Lancaster at the age of 30 years old, celebrated his 30th birthday alone last weekend. Unable to visit family or friends, he decided to create a recreation of Lancaster Castle out of toast. That's
Very relatable.
I just love the image of this guy looking around his house going, what materials do I have? And then looks at this cupboard of bread and decides that's what I'll use.
Yeah. I needed something to kill the lockdown boredom, so I created Lancaster Castle out of toast. I work in construction in London and I create lots of things in my spare time, but it's usually hard to find the time for anything besides work, said Matt. It took me almost 5 hours, with a couple of breaks included in that, to finish it. That's Matt's story.
Amazing.
5 hours is pretty good.
Inspiring.
I can't wait for the movie.
Oh. Yeah. Right. Okay. So at the end of that round, we have Geo with 2 points for getting it right, and we have my favourite story out of all of that would have to be Lewis's of Bob the Builder secretly being a PhD holder in medicine and saving the world.
Oh, amazing.
Oh yes. Okay. So at the end of that round, Tristan has 3 points.
Hooray!
Lewis has 6 points. Joe has
Nice.
7 points. And Geo is currently in the lead with 8 points.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh, it's
Let's
close,
go.
this.
Let's go, team.
But
I can
do
win
not-
this yet!
if you come up with a super creative story for this next round, it would have to include a hell of a song. Yes, so this next round, It's the third and final song break. But before we launch into that, I have a creative question for you. So, if you were to make a model out of a building, out of food, what building would it be, and what food would you make it out of? So, any building, you've got to make a model out of it, a model of it, not a model out of it. Don't carve out a piece of the building. And what building would it be, and what food would you make it out of? That's my question to you. And to do our last song break, in the song game, we have so far had Welcome to the Club by Joe Walsh, and we have had Four to the Floor by Star Sailor. The third song in this song break is Plug In Baby by the band Muse. Here it comes. See you all in 3 minutes and 41 seconds.
Yeah.
See ya. Alrighty, alright, just waiting for Gio and Joe to... here
I'm
we go.
back.
Hello. Okay, that was Plug In Baby by Muse. So, before we decide what these songs have all been hinting at, I have asked you all a question, to which you must give your most creative answer. So the question was, if you were to make a model of a building out of food, what building would it be, and what food would you make it out of? Let me quickly spin my wheel. I should have spinned it in the song break. Okay, right. Joe, you're up first.
Right. Well, I started by thinking, I think as many of us might have done, what is the easiest food to work with? And what I decided on was a line of sweets that I believe were actually released by Lego that are shaped like Lego bricks. And they are they're shaped in such a way, this is genuinely real, that they can actually be fitted together as Lego bricks or even with Lego bricks in order to build stuff.
But
So-
why?
Because money, I guess. So, yeah, that was the food I went with. And then I thought, I don't know what they're like as sweets. They might be horrible. They probably are. But I just thought, so that's the food I'm going with. And I thought, well, Lego bricks are very brightly coloured. So what would I build?
Hello.
Oh,
Hello?
hello, Joe. I
Yeah?
think you cut out for a bit. Could you repeat what you would build out of those Lego bricks?
Where's he gone?
Joe! We'll never know!
his internet has had trouble before in calls. Oh, he's muted. Joe, are you there?
Oh no.
Say something!
Okay.
He's lost in the ether.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I think he will be back soon. It might take a while, but in the meantime, shall we launch into somebody else's story and come back to Joe's when the time comes. So next up, Tristan, what would your story be? What would you make, and what food would you make it out of?
Well, I'm going to be making something quite difficult, but my toast building skills have equipped me to branch out a bit. So my chosen medium will be frozen cranberry juice, and I will be creating the shard out of frozen cranberry juice because for one reason alone, which is that a blood red shard will be the perfect place to stand atop of when I reveal that I am the evil villain who has banished Joe
Hello.
into the ether. Oh, damn it!
Hello, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Worked
No
so
idea what
well
happened there.
after all.
Don't worry, don't worry.
I've been
You can cut that out, can't you,
thwarted.
John?
Tristan
You can cut that
was
out, can't you, John?
I will. Tristan was just explaining about how he would build a shard out of frozen cranberry juice, upon which he would stand at the top of this shard and declare himself to be the evil villain that banished you just now into the ether.
And it would have worked if it weren't for you meddling kids!
Oh.
Did you hear the end of mine? Sorry, just to check.
I didn't. Could you
Right.
go from yes? So you've got sweets shaped out of Lego bricks, but what would you make out of it?
I would take these sweets shaped like Lego bricks, and I would, because they're very brightly coloured Lego bricks, and so are the sweets, so I would rebuild St. Basil's Cathedral in Moscow with the big colourful domes.
Oh gosh, yes, that's brilliant. Oh yes.
Thank you, yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I love those towers. They are the one thing that the Russian. Actually, no, I'm not going to talk about the Russian
steady on.
government. We are not going to go into that. Okay, right. Let's suffice to say they have lovely towers. And so
Yes, they do.
next up in my wheel, which is just a website, Lewis, what would you build and out of what?
So when someone says to me, building, I immediately think, yes, multi-story car park. So this is where it gets a bit funky fresh. So each layer of the multi-story car park would be a different food.
Ooh.
So the bottom layer, you'd start with like mashed potato, right? Because you need a solid foundation, and when mashed potato dries, it's like, it's all crispy and crunchy. Next layer, you've got to have the carrot layer. If you don't have the carrot layer, you can't see anything else. Then you've got the broccoli layer. No one likes the broccoli layer. You ideally want to park on the carrot layer, but it's got to be there. And you just go on like that. And the only thing, obviously, that can destroy a multi-story car park made of several vegetables and potato is, of course, gravy. But in the event of that, you do have a gravy boat station nearby to sail away.
Oh god, that's a very intricate story. But I like that a lot. That's you've really gone above and beyond with that one. Yes, lovely. Okay, so we've got a vegetable-built multi-story car park. We've got a frozen cranberry juice shard upon which Tristan would stand and declare his hatred for Joe. And we've
Team
got...
spirit, mate. Team spirit.
Indeed. And that brings us, last but not least, to Gio. What would you build, and out of what?
So I don't know if this counts as a building. It's kind of more of a monument, I guess. But I was thinking about the Easter Island heads, those wonderful little things.
Oh, God, yes.
And how I have recently been introduced to the wonders of banana bread. And I think it would be pretty great to build a banana bread head.
It would.
Yeah. And then I could make a band with that as the singer and call it Right Said Banana Bread.
Genius!
I was going to make a Talking Heads joke there, but
yeah, that would also.
Well, your one was a bit more of an elaborate name for a band. Okay, so make banana bread heads. Oh, lovely. Okay.
Only covering Hollaback Girl over and over again. I'm so glad you guys got that reference, so I don't have to explain it.
I'm just gonna pretend I got the reference so that I look competent as a host. Okay, right. Okay, so we've got make banana bread heads and form a band. What was that band name again?
Right Said Banana Bread Head, obviously.
Of course, yes. We've got build a multi-story car park out of vegetation, which is one of the most ambitious projects, up there with building a replica of the Shard, the entire Shard out of frozen cranberry juice, which was Tristan's, and we've got make St. Basil's Cathedral out of Lego Sweets from Joe. And I've got to say, my favourite one has to be it's hard. I've got to go with the banana bread heads from Geo.
Rhyming always wins. You gotta rhyme, and you'll have a good time.
Yeah.
Well done.
Ooh.
Very good. Okay. Yes, so that brings it to the end of that round. Geo gets the point for that round, and that brings us to our last part of the game. We are going to guess the story that has been in the news, as hinted by these three songs that I've played. Now, those three songs were Fall to the Floor by Star Sailor. Oh god, what was the other one? Welcome to the Club by Joe Walsh. I know what I'm doing. Try, I promise. And Plug In Baby by Muse. And now, Joe, I think you said you had a pretty good idea of what this story that was in the news was. Are you still?
I don't think I'm going to hold to that actually, just because this story was in the news a while ago. So I'm not sure if it really counts. It's not a recent headline.
Okay. Right. Fair enough. So yeah, what do we think? We've got Plug In Baby, Fall to the Floor. And go on.
I have a guess. I mean, okay, yeah, I have a guess. Is it the announcement of Boris Johnson's baby?
Yeah. Go on. Guys, you can chip in on
is that
this.
what?
It's called Club. He's called the Baby Club. It was born in a club.
Probably was, to be honest.
Johnson's living a wild
That's where
life.
he's been all along.
Oh my
Just
god,
this
it's a secret club.
One man in a club on his own, listen to his own iPod on shuffle, is the saddest image I think I've ever had in my life.
Do you not mean the most exciting and most dynamic image? You get to choose the music all the time. Perfect.
I think
Fair enough.
I think there do exist clubs, actually. I think there do exist clubs where everyone just listens to the music on their earphones through their phones. But I think they listen to the same song. They all listen to the same
Silent
song.
discos,
Silent
yeah.
Disco, yeah.
No, they're fun. They're fun.
I'm sure it is. I've never been
Silent
in a real.
discos are the plague of Edinburgh streets every August. It
What?
is.
This is a very specific gripe you've got here.
I have been to the Fringe for like 4 years running, and every single time it is a nightmare.
Mm.
I will stand by this hatred.
I mean, I went to a silent disco where, unironically, there was no music playing. In that it just wasn't happening.
Everyone pretend there was music playing.
They listened to it's an imaginary disco. They just pretended there was music.
The disco of your imagination.
every school gymnasium is a silent disco. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. So but no, back to the story though. We have got we are on the right track with Boris Johnson's Baby, but with the songs Welcome to the Club, Fall to the Floor, Plug In Baby, what do you think that would be hinting at?
Did you join a club or something?
The baby has sort of joined a club, yes.
Oh,
Prime
is it?
Minister's Babies Club.
Is it?
Yes,
Is it like?
yes. Tristan
Oh.
got that right. I'm sorry
Really?
to cut you off, Gio.
No,
Yes.
I wasn't going to guess that. It's fine.
Oh, good. Yes. So the Boris Johnson's Baby has joined the club of prime ministers' babies. There are precisely 4 babies who have been born to prime ministers.
So is that
Prime
baby's
Minister.
born while their father or mother was in office?
Yes. There's
Right.
there's only 4 babies who've been born while their fathers are in office. The first one I think was in the 19th century, back when the Prime Minister wasn't even called the Prime Minister. He was called the High Treasurer or something. And then
History student?
Probably.
the
Yeah, we
history
had that. And then the other 3 were born in this order to Tony Blair in the year 2000, and to David Cameron in the year 2010, I think, and then to Boris Johnson. So yes, that is.
They're not all the
story.
same baby, are they?
They're not
Kept getting
quadruplets.
born. No.
They're not
That'd be
quadruplets
weird.
that were delayed by years. Although fun fact for you all, the I believe the longest distance of time between 2 twins being born ever, because some twins are born like 10 minutes apart, some twins are born like a whole day apart. The longest length of time between 2 twins ever being born was, I think, 82 days.
Christ! I would not want to be that woman.
God no.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. So yes, that was just a fun fact for you. But yes, that was the story. And Tristan, I'm gonna go and say that you got that. So that is a point to you.
Wow. A whole
you-
point. Hooray! Am I the winner now?
If the winner is the person who has the fewest points, then yes. I'm sorry to say.
Ooh, burn.
Hey, we could be playing golf. You don't know.
Okay. And that brings us to the end of the show, everybody. So the points are as standing. We've got Tristan with 4 points. We have got, round of applause for Tristan.
Thank you very much. It was very difficult, but I accept this reward very, very graciously. I shan't go on in my acceptance speech, but suffice to say, I want to thank my family, my inspirations. Go on.
Oh god, very good. We've got Lewis with 6 points. Well done, Lewis.
Well done.
Don't applaud that. Come on.
Okay, we've got Joe Dodd with 7 points. And
Thank you.
No worries at all. And we've got Geo Craig with a whopping 9 points. Well done, Geo. You are the winner.
Let's go,
Your
champ.
dominance.
Your dominance.
We win.
Oh god, this
15 to 11.
this must be
With
like
our-
Rose's history. This is Rose's history. The
No,
first time
now
that
Wow.
you won
Oh.
something in Lancaster.
After a very fun, companionable game, we're now just going to start point scoring and getting mad with each other.
Oh,
I
my
started
God.
that from the beginning. Don't know what you lot were doing.
Oh, right.
Yes. That was brilliant. Yeah, that is the end of the show. Thank you all so much for coming, and very well done to you, Gio, for your creative answers and
Well,
everything.
thank you for hosting my madness.
No
Thanks
worries
very
at all.
much, John.
Oh, no
Thanks,
worries.
John.
Thanks, John.
And thank you too. Thank you for coming.
Yeah,
Yes.
thanks.
Thanks for inviting us. It was a great time.
I
Yeah, we
had
had fun.
almost fun.
Oh god, that
Oh,
was
dear.
brilliant. Okay, that concludes.
Go watch Barnyard.
the-